Seconds.
I was gonna be like, guys, look, I moved my table again.
We're live, Marco.
No,
Oh, we are. Great.
Yeah, we're live.
well, I moved my table again. Look, oh, different part.
The
Terrible
comics
part.
industry
Ooh.
Guys, look, I moved my table again.
has been in a lot of upheaval since COVID hit. Arguably, the most disruptive decision came from Diamond to stop the sale of comics since many stores weren't in a position to receive or sell them. That decision led DC to pull out of their relationship with Diamond altogether and partner with Lunar and DCS for distribution, which created a chain reaction that led to what Sean refers to as fracturing. Where we only had Diamond before, there are now no less than 4 different distributors. And a lot has been made of all that, but what hasn't been talked about and what we're going to dig into is the loss of sales data in comics as a result of this schism. Welcome to the Comics Pals. What's up, hot dogs?
Hello.
It's me, your best friend, Cale Ward. I'm here with Tyler.
Hi, I was bleeding from the head this morning.
I'm also here with Marco.
I'm freshly showered.
And you'll notice Sean's not here. And
He's on assignment.
He is out proving his partner worth.
Yep.
And we wish he and Rebecca all the best, safe travels. They had a sudden emergency, which we only found out about like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, so
we are going to make the best of this. We're going to have a great time, or we're going to turn this car around, and we're having Lunchables at home.
Lunchables.
Send me home.
Is it the Taco Bell Lunchables?
No, that's
No.
the bad ones.
Man, I want McDonald's. Actually, no, I had 3 a.m. halal. I don't want anything. Let's just talk about comics and stuff.
I do want to start, and I wish Sean was here because I was right. When this all started to happen, and I was like, okay, DC's gonna pull away. Surely the next publishers have to follow. It's the only logical sense that you're gonna start to get a further diversification of companies and distributors. And hey, man, Lunar popped up. Was it the I'm forgetting the other one, the Midtown one?
Oh, it was Lunar and
DCS are the two.
yeah,
Lunar
Yes.
and DCS.
Yeah. So this felt like where it would naturally go, but with the loss of data, I think that's probably the biggest drawback of this change is that now not only do we not have purview or any kind of insight into the industry, more importantly, the publishers themselves don't have any kind of insight, and that can't be good for business at the end of the day.
Right. So you're getting ahead of me, which is why we don't let you start.
I will say, the Marco is Right shirt is available on our shop, which there's a link to in the bio. So
I was right at some point.
there's a Marco was Right
sure,
shirt. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a Marco is Wrong shirt.
Oh wait, you're right. It's Sean was right. That's what the shirt is. Yeah.
Get yourself a pink one. You'll thank me later. Now, last week, Bleeding Cool published a piece about the comics industry not having proper sales data. Basically, because everything is split now. There's no good way to keep track of the actual sales data. The most recent hard sales data that we have comes from Diamond well over a year ago. And the image that Bleeding Cool has, I believe on the that's on YouTube now, comes from January of 2018.
Yeah.
Sean has in the notes here, January of 2022, which is after DC exited the agreement with Diamond, but before Marvel did. So without the reporting of sales data, creators, retailers, and fans are all kept in the dark, relying only on publishers to tell us what books are hot. We tune out publisher bragging. But listen, numbers don't lie. And you asking me, Cale Ward, your best friend? Numbers don't lie. That's why they hide them. Rich says that speaking to one industry insider, it was relayed to me that during a recent discussion with a group of retailers, it became apparent that they all had differing perspectives on what a specific publisher's most recent hit was, as well as what even constituted a hit in today's marketplace. When the publisher shared actual numbers with them, many of the retailers were genuinely shocked because they could only draw from their own experiences with the titles in question. Some stores were surprised that certain titles sold more than they thought possible based on their own sales data, while others were sure various things had to be selling less. Everyone agreed that there was a missed opportunity to sell more, but faced with a total blackout of sales information, the only information they could trust was the information generated within their own stores.
Silva in the chat just brought something up. As long as the publishers know that's all that matters, they'll act on those numbers. I think they'll act on those numbers in a silo. And I think that becomes an interesting problem because you can only work off the data that you have, and you only have your data. The advantage of knowing what other publishers have from, let's say, a content perspective is, oh, hey, this sci-fi book popped off, or this character popped off, or maybe this event did well. And you can sort of chalk up against the companies can against themselves, at least the big two, because I think those are more in direct competition. But then for the smaller publishers, a lot of them might rely on IP. A lot of them might rely on specific kinds of, like I mentioned before, genres to be able to boost or to focus, narrow down the sales. And I think having that information is beneficial to them. And ultimately, it's not about having, I think, the right information. It's about having the least wrong information. And right now, they're kind of caught in between not having any. Actually, they just don't have any, and they can't make assumptions off of that.
Cale, do you have anything? I was looking through Sean's notes, like from comic book shops, talking about their experiences on this, because I do, but I wanted to bring
please,
up,
yeah,
cool.
if you do.
So Southside Comics and Toys, which is a comic book shop in Philly, kind of recently, 7th. What day is it? So like on Thursday, tweeted about this on X.com. They're a medium-sized store with a web presence and robust subscription service. So that's context to the store. But yeah, fractured distribution has led to messy retail landscape. For most stores, margins have been lost. Labor to manage multi-distribution has increased significantly. Data is a complete mess. Point of sale and inventory management software is struggling to keep up with bad data. With no universal formatting, it's a constant rat race to plug the holes. With as many covers and SKUs in today's market, subscription and inventory management is crucial for store success. If that data is bad, the software cannot function properly. The result, more labor and more mistakes. Customers don't like mistakes. So, yeah, that whole fracturization of that we thought was cool because, Diamond, screw them, monopoly.
Yeah.
But the side effect of all that is too many different data sets that you now have that might have software that does things correctly, and none of them communicate with each other. So now you have a comic book store employee that has to become a data analyst, essentially, to just stock the shelves correctly. And I think when the digital market exists and, places like MidtownComics.com exist, which Midtown probably has good data because of, having their finger in the stew there. If your comic shop keeps screwing up your orders and they can't figure it out and you go there and they're not stocked with the stuff you'd want, it's going to drive you either to digital or to someplace where you just order online and get rid of the hassle. So I would not want to have to deal with this fracturization of all the different sales and stuff like that. So
Yeah, what you're pointing out there reminds me of something I read on it was one of those what Reddit threads that are like what's a dirty secret about your business?
Oh, sure.
You know,
those are juicy. Yeah.
Love
Hotel
those,
industry.
yeah.
Great.
But I excuse me?
The hotel industry always has like weird things
Oh.
like that. Yeah.
Mm.
Like, oh, wait, we don't change the garbages, stuff like that.
But yeah, garbages. But I found out that the NHS in the UK is so wildly fractured despite being universal. It if you move from say England to Wales, apparently if you tried to get your records from England to Wales, it takes years because the hospitals don't share a language. They don't share systems. They don't share specific coding stuff to make something like that happen, which in the year of our Lord 2023 you would think.
To be fair, when I hear a Welsh accent, I also can't understand. So
well, if you read a Welsh accent, you can't understand it either.
yeah, no. All I see is dragons.
Yeah. So what all this means, which we've kind of stated here several times, is that we can't be sure about what publishers are performing well outside of Marvel, DC, and probably Image. And even then, our perception of Image changed when their top-selling books of the last 10 years chart leaked.
Oh, sure. And I think even like on a month-to-month basis, then your perception can change, right? Like we could be really excited for a book, give it a lot of buzz, but ultimately it doesn't sell well because it doesn't connect to like a larger audience, and vice versa. You can have a book that maybe individuals locally aren't fans of, but they do well at scale, and then you get conflicting images of what success is to that earlier point that you made, Cale. And some publishers didn't even know. You had to go to the source to understand, oh, this book did well, this book did well, this one didn't, and this one's struggling.
The I think it was Pete Foltz in the chat here that mentioned because of this, creators lose bargaining rights or bargaining chips, really, if they don't know data as well.
Yeah, and we listen. Sean is an excellent host, even when he's not here. We're going to talk about creator stuff later on.
Yeah, I was surprised he even added more to it in a situation, but yeah.
Yeah, and someone even brought up Sylv brought up Netflix in the YouTube chat. And we sort of talked about this in the Discord earlier this week, and that was also my point of view. Is we only recently got a look at the way Netflix actually operates and like why things get canceled after the first season. And even though reportedly the shows do well, it's because their model is get a bunch of stuff quick and then dump it so that it looks like you're making profit. We would have never known that had we not gotten a look at these sales charts and everything. I think this corporate shenanigans is exactly why we don't get comics data.
But we used to get it, is the thing. Like I think to Tyler's earlier point on the fractured systems and not being able to navigate those cleanly, the simple solution, and simple in air quotes, right? But the I guess most logistical solution is have a single source of truth, have a single source where all publishers can go access a platform to be able to get their books. Like I remember there was a conversation years ago where Diamond was planning their own like unified system so that it's like a portal. You can go, you can order, you can do whatever, and ultimately that never happened. And I think had that system been in place, that would have been a framework at least to be able to apply and extrapolate out to now the landscape that we're in.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the problem is if you're it's like the New York subway system. It operates on switchboards and microchips from 1930.
They're gonna say hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your comics distributor runs on microchips from 1930, what good is that information when it, especially when it comes out broken?
I remember they had a press release, Diamond, on like, we introduced new functionality, a search bar. Like, whoa, dude.
As someone who works IT and I have to deal with a lot of these like company specific applications, that shit's never updated. I've had to only recently upgrade people from Windows 7. Like that's where we are in like the IT world. Yeah. So because it's usually just like one or two people that actually control the development of this app. So and I'm talking about hospitals. I'm not talking about the niche comic book market, And I remember when Diamond was like, "Hey, they were going to add that like thing where like Joe Schmo could just go on their website and make a pull list." But then, I don't think that ever fully integrated properly.
No,
that was all blue sky stuff. I don't think it ever launched. I think half-baked versions of it did.
We talked about that when it was first announced.
Yeah, that's right.
I know I was still in New York, so you're gonna have to go deep in our back catalog to find that if you're interested.
Before the globetrotting,
yeah,
double digits.
No, not before the globetrotting, but a long time ago. So I guess the thing I really want to talk about, and we've sort of danced around it here, is why do we need it? Do we need it? Is it necessary? Is it vanity? And what would it take for different publishers to finally agree to let this information be public? According to Bleeding Cool, Marvel, DC, and Image, and even the rest of the publishers want this information out there as well. But Marvel, DC, and Image aren't going to be the people to pull the trigger because neither of them trust each other and neither of them want to go first.
It's like I guess maybe that's problematic, but it's like a Mexican standoff sort of thing.
Yeah. Sure. Which is silly because this data is only going to be helpful for you, like for them, right? Like,
hot take, out of those three, I only feel like Image actually cares about the direct market.
What do you mean?
If Marvel and DC, and this is maybe just let me put on my tinfoil hat right now. If Marvel and DC, in my opinion, could get rid of the direct market, they would. If they could do digital only and subscription and keep everything in house. Imagine you only get your Marvel comics at I can't say Disney stores because those don't exist, but like the Disney store kiosks in Targets, I'm sure they would not mind. They wouldn't hate that.
How quick would we transition to digital comics if Marvel and DC alone were somehow able to come together and make a functioning app to replace a comic book store?
I mean, 75% of this podcast is digital. Like, it wouldn't take convincing us. It'd be convincing a demographic like Sean. I'm locked into the Wednesday, what is it? Habit. I like my physical stuff. Like, you need to address that individual. And I think realistically, that person probably doesn't or does so kicking and screaming.
But does kicking and screaming matter as long as they do it? Especially when your share, if you're Marvel and DC, think about the transition to Comixology. When everything finally went on Comixology, that changed the game. I was buying stuff left and right on Comixology.
Yeah, same.
It was so easy.
And then
yeah,
so easy. Then they took the marketplace off the app, and then they took they killed it. And now you have to go 14 different places to get what you want. If 80%, two publishers came together and decided they wanted to wipe out the market,
And realistically, they make up what, 90% of it,
Yeah.
of all sales. So yeah, I mean, it would make sense. But and someone mentioned it here. Yeah, top lane, take the middleman out. You take the comic book retailer out, and at that point, potentially, you don't pay whatever certain fees for that. You don't have to pay distribution anymore. Like the amount of savings that you get from a lack of need for distribution is minimal, but I don't think that to your point, I don't think that those companies would care because it's marginal at the end of the day. It's so small, it's probably insignificant to their larger universe of I'm making money in X variety of ways.
But that wipes out printing costs, that wipes out shipping costs.
Right. Everything.
Yeah.
The only real hit would be PR, I think. I think if DC or Marvel, if one of them decided to pull the trigger and pull out, I don't think the Mexican standoff is whether or not they would decide to come out and put out data, as much as the opposite and decide to pull out of the printing business.
Well, for this conversation, it's about data. That
sure,
that
yeah.
standoff analogy is basically what Rich pointed out.
There's no incentive
question
for either of them to come out with that data, though.
I think you're right. I think Image is the only one that has a horse in the race of what does this data look like, because they're so much smaller a piece of pie than Marvel and DC. And Marvel and DC have the backing of two massive companies.
Well, I would disagree, just because I think it's more valuable to Image, but I think for the individual, like the larger two, that data it's competitive information. Like that's never a bad thing when you're a competing company. And I think anecdotally, you'll do competitive research constantly because you need to know what the other person is doing in order to enhance your business. I think whether or not they prioritize the comics industries of their respective companies, that might be a different story, and so that's why they probably won't want to do it. But I think that the data there should be and is valuable, and somebody internally probably wants it to be like, look, I need to connect the amount of sales that we're getting, the amount of distribution, to a potential return on something. I need an ROI.
But I guess what we're talking about here is a public sales chart, right? So in this scenario,
something that could be tracked by
shops. So in this scenario that you're talking about, Marco, that's still publisher to publisher information, maybe.
Sure.
And if you want to know what the other guy's doing, go pick up their books, right? Like, comics is a slow medium despite how fast it is.
I did have a question, Cale.
Yeah.
Vanity. What do you think? Do they tackle vanity at all? Because Sean mentioned that in his notes.
That's what I that was going to be my next question, actually. Yeah. The thing I I think in this article, Rich talks a lot about Mark Miller and compares makes him out to be like the modern Stan Lee, and how he's a used car salesman. But his stuff actually doesn't seem to sell that well.
Yeah, why do you think he keeps
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about maybe going back to the big two? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And even his big game, his big crossover event comic with Pepe Larraz that recently came out, according to Rich, that actually ended up being the best-selling Image title, Miller's best-selling Image title since Prodigy in 2018, which clocked in at just under 50,000 copies.
Probably because of the artist. That was it. Prodigy. I forget who it was.
that
Greco
was Prodigy was Albuquerque.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean Albuquerque and
But I
Larraz.
also think
Yeah, that
Prodigy
tracks.
came out right after the announcement of Miller World.
Mm.
So there was still some hype around that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In terms of the vanity, like there being vanity metrics, I think ultimately that's what that would be if you share it to the public. If you share it with the public, it would be a number that simply says volume and associated dollars, right? That's not helpful to a publisher. The publisher will care about how that affects like their costs, their implied costs, how much it takes to acquire a user, right? Or a new customer at that end. So it would be a vanity metric insofar as it applies to us and to the publisher. So I think for them to share that, it's at their discretion, but I think it's helpful to be transparent. I don't like that, and I don't like that it's at
And
their
also,
discretion.
I don't think vanity even works here either because I think any kind of vanity would just show how weak the industry is, and also would
Mhm.
then show that it's a a peek behind the curtain of like Marvel putting out all these miniseries that probably don't sell.
Mm-hmm.
I think the negative impact of showing where their sales aren't would be more of a detriment than actually saying, oh, I don't know, Dark Droids did well this summer. Look at this Star Wars event. Star Wars is still going. I think it would be more negative to be like, but also here's all the Fall of X books nobody's reading.
Yikes, that's a good point. Yeah, they're not going to make the top 50. But then at that point, right? Then I think it's a way for us to hold them, maybe it's for us to hold them accountable to some degree. Not that they listen to, fans or readers
Accountable for what?
necessarily.
All the comics are to them is an IP farm. Like,
Yep.
Well, but at that point, it's like, why did you guys? Let's say that the numbers aren't stellar, right? And they're worthy of getting canceled in the against, let's say, a 10K threshold, right? Like at that point, you'd be like, why are you guys putting this out? People aren't picking these books up. Maybe it's a matter of I can't afford, and so you're stretching our dollars too thin. And secondly, it could be you're
Just you're stretching our dollar to stuff that doesn't even sell.
right, exactly, right. So what is the point of that? I'm a consumer of your books, but I might need to read something that's associated to the larger event, but it's not selling one potentially from a quality standpoint, but then also it's a requisite, and that's hurting my dollar. And if you need that dollar, then that's a different conversation. That's a different perspective that will be informed by that data.
I think also vanity could relate to creators. Bendis was hot for a long time. And then when he came to DC, he wasn't hot no more, right?
Bendis is coming.
Ew. But how many people were buying those books? I wonder, if we see the sort of proliferation of creators as vanity vanity projects, in that case, Bendis makes millions on these comics. He produces the money. I'm not saying he does or he doesn't, but in this scenario, he finds out he does. He doesn't need Marvel or DC.
He could always leave. I mean, he's aware of his, cachet, his status.
He is, yes, but is Kelly Thompson?
Oh, sure.
My argument is, you tell a creator how much they're worth, they're gonna go do their own thing.
They're gonna know what they're worth.
Yeah.
Can't have the people knowing what they're worth.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
It's a good
That's
point.
what this whole discussion can be boiled down to.
Yeah.
Fucking capitalism. Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
No, go for it.
Let's try and hit some of these comments, if we can. And
I like
you
this
guys are looking for
Atomic
them,
Hound saying.
but
Go ahead, Cal.
before you, while you're looking for the comments, we need some likes, people.
Ooh, yes.
And I'm in charge today. We're not doing no draft if we don't hit 20 likes.
Uh-oh. Said he's turning the car around.
That's right.
Dad's mad.
That is bad.
Can I be
So
the mom?
I want to see you, Tyler. You're definitely the mom.
I'm baby.
I want to see those likes. I want to see 20 likes, and then we'll do a draft. And I think we've got a pretty cool one on deck this time. So get it together, audience.
I want to tackle this Dan comment. I think the main issue is the old system for tracking and reporting is gone. There's no incentive for investing a new one. I think to add to that, there never was a good tracking system. It's all based off of the sales, the pre-orders, and it's broken out by pre-order sales associated to the dollar amounts and then just units, right? So then you're only looking at what actually gets ordered, sent to the store, but then you lose all visibility after that. So you can't actually say, Spider-Man number 13 drove X dollar amount. We know that X number of people ordered it, but that does actually translate to the sales. And I think having that as some sort of like POS system, a point of sale system, to be able to say, I ordered this number of books from the publisher, it's reflected in the data, and then after you do your scans or whatever else to keep track of the difference, then you'd be able to say, okay, actually, this is how this book performed, not based off pre-orders, which isn't a deterministic number.
I would still rather, though, have a shitty data set than none,
Fair.
Yeah, like if I'm waking up in the morning, I need a coffee. If it's bad coffee, I'm still drinking it. You know what's worse? Not having a coffee.
Yep. Tyler, you had one from Hound.
Yeah. He said DC should proclaim themselves number one. Who could say different?
Can't.
I mean, I won't.
Yeah, no, I won't either.
DC rules. So,
Comic Boom, can you elaborate a bit? He said, I used to assign 10% of my monthly comic book budget to lower selling titles on comic. Oh, I see. Like you're buying, your personal buying. No, I don't have my incentive. Incentive's gone. Yeah, and I think the incentive argument there is, there's no reason for them to want to invest, and I think that's why they were in that Mexican standoff. Is, well, I'm not going to do it because whatever I'm doing is working fine for me, and that doesn't. It's not going to affect the other publishers. So, why should I be the one to make a change, or why should I be the one to drive some sort of instance of innovation? I mean, I would argue for that sake alone is to drive some avenue of innovation that doesn't exist in the comic book market right now, because then maybe that's a differentiator, and that will help your way of being stronger in the industry. So that's my optimism, though.
I appreciate your constant optimism in the face of overwhelming evidence of the contrary.
Adversity.
Yeah.
Another interesting angle I wonder about this is who do we trust to do it?
Me, bro.
There could be something to that. With Diamond, they kept track of their busted ass system, and that, ostensibly worked okay. We had numbers. But and Bleeding Cool has offered themselves up, and they are in the process of running monthly and weekly top 10 bestseller lists from comic book stores, from data from Comic Hub. But
It just seems like messy data at that point, honestly. Yeah.
But and this is stuff that it seems like is in the process of coming out, right? But an overall thing, Bleeding Cool even says that's something that would take years to put together, to get the standing and to get the information that you would need. You would also need someone who can work out the political differences between Warner Brothers and Disney. And it doesn't seem like anybody can do that.
It's interesting there's not a third-party data company that is just aggregating this information. And
like a Nielsen. Yeah.
Yeah, like a Nielsen. I'm forgetting the name of the book. Whenever we do the larger comics industry, especially after San Diego, there's that book company that also aggregates manga,
yes,
YA novels, all those, all
is
that
it Comic-Con?
stuff. Not Comic-Con, but Comic-Con. I mean, Comic-Con itself is a website, for anybody who doesn't know, dedicated to trying to track historical sales. I think they start at, I want to say, with hard data or less wrong data in the 80s, and they continue through to this day. And unfortunately, it's all, since Diamond has stopped publishing that information, it's all done kind of disparately, taken from sample sets of different stores, and then you extrapolate some statistical number. But I think Comic-Con's a great example of, we have somebody, a site, a group of people dedicated to wanting to track these things because it's of interest, and now it's about allowing maybe those individuals that access of information. At that point, it just becomes, give us your data set, I'll build an API feed, and we'll all be happy.
Yeah. But who can do it? Listen, we'll tell you our sales data. We'll be honest about that information. You're not giving us enough money. So, you want to hear all that? You're at the right place. You're listening to the main show, The Comics Pals, on YouTube at 10:15 Eastern every Saturday. Don't forget it. And you can hear us talk about what we think are the hottest comics releases on Pals Polls every Thursday at 6 p.m. live on the Eastern time zone. Don't forget that you can vote in the Pals Polls poll on the YouTube community tab.
The other thing for Pals Polls, to entice people more, we've been doing a little something new on the show.
Ooh,
talking about some maybe non-comic stuff towards the end of the show. This week we tackled some CM Punk news.
And this one was tasty. This time
I chewed on.
The past couple of times we've done a couple of mini TV reviews, which were really good. But I think this CM Punk discussion got some passion in it.
Although I did watch all of One Piece, so
yeah, how'd you like it?
Really liked
1,000 episodes.
Yes, yeah. People were like, "Oh, it's really hard to get into." It's only one season. I was fine.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
If the live shows aren't enough, guys, you can join the Discord, where everything we talk about gets talked about to death. We've already talked about the sales information, like I said. And if that's not enough, guys, come check us out at patreon.com/thecomicspals, where you can join our ever-building Palsverse. You'll get access to a special private Discord where we are still talking.
Yeah, I
You'll
put up some a quick test video of myself and what I was reading to do some research for SPX where I'm at.
Oh yeah, are you gonna put up anything for
Oh yeah, baby.
the
Trust
the
me.
the sweet con floor?
I'm gonna do the convention floor, do some stuff on TikTok. I'm gonna be putting out some exclusive stuff for Patreon. That's gonna be my newsletter for this week. It came out perfectly, so
My immature ass keeps thinking SPX is Small Penis Expo.
God damn it. Don't blow up my spot like that, bro.
Got him. You can also, you're never gonna believe this. You can also get your own shout out and superpowered name. Tyler's on deck for the next one, so you'll probably get small penis power.
The Chode Crusader.
Oh.
No.
No, I will give you a cool power. I will give you good stuff. Do you want me to go through? Want me to read our best pals, Cale?
I got it.
All right, good, because I don't think I'd be able to get through it without sneezing. So
I got it. I'll let you handle the listener comment. Now I'm going to shout out the special pals in the universe, Thunderstruck Rebecca Alejandro and the Hound of Justice Atomic Hound. Special thank you to both of you. A big thank you and shout out also to the Night Stalker, Harris Nijinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kevis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Starcross Catherine Stars, Dan the Truth Trudeau, Joel Justice, Jalen the Sanguine Sorcerer, Neon Knight Cosmic Avenger, Super Shenron the Conqueror, and Marvelous Micah McKenzie.
Thank you so much.
y'all are the best.
I really needed to differentiate it from the way Sean does it.
Oh, and that I do it out of mimicry.
Yeah. So I really wanted it to do like I was calling out a Space Jam basketball team.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it next time I host. I'm gonna do it as Don Pardo on SNL. Nassim Pedrad,
Musical guest.
musical guest.
Tyler,
Joel
hit me with that
Justice.
listener comment. Tyler, hit me with that listener comment.
Ooh, we have a listener comment from this is from some guy named Atomic Hound, new listener.
The
huh?
Hound
Cool.
of Justice.
Atomic Hound on Discord said, "What superpower could you most use to enhance your enjoyment of comics and/or collecting?" Huh.
Collecting? Oh, I got you right. The Midas touch. Easy. Ding, ding, ding.
No, because then you're reading the comic and you accidentally. Oh no, my Avengers 1 is now a gold slab.
Oh no. And then
Also, like,
I
how do you use
sell
the
it.
bathroom?
Well, it surely doesn't affect you. It's your hands.
I would
right?
hope so. I would hope so.
I don't think they talked about that in the myth.
Yeah. Just wear gloves.
The gloves will turn gold. The Midas touch is a power that I don't really care much for.
Yeah.
It's too much of a monkey's paw situation.
I think I would need a lot. I need the superpower of like medication
Okay.
so I can actually sit down and read these things. But
They're
also
they're called psychiatrists, Cale.
don't know about
Not in the UK, they're not.
that. but also I would need something like the TARDIS so that I could have all the space I need to for my collection.
Yeah, I would need a portable hole, I think, for the collection. I think that'd be good.
A pocket dimension.
Portable hole. It just sounds great. That's also my drag queen name. But I would say for me, it's like flash powers to be able to read stuff real fast. Just absorb everything. I would just like read all of Avengers chronologically.
Burn out the book.
Yeah. I don't even think an iPad can keep up with it, so
No.
I'd have to go physical at that point. And then I would need Bruce Wayne's power of money.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just need to be fast Bruce Wayne, and I'm good with a portable hole.
Or in Catwoman's new Gotham City, I can just walk into a store and steal books, huh?
You could just find where Aaron Meyer from Twitter lives and just take his books.
I think the problem with that is that everyone knows no one in comics has money. And comic shops especially don't have money.
People are still breaking into them though, so
get Bob Iger's comps.
You think Bob Iger gets comps? No.
He does not get comps.
No.
He's
too busy.
He went out of his way to check the box that says, please don't send me this shit.
He sent a formalized letter.
Yeah, he's too busy hanging out on private islands.
Actually, that TARDIS idea, though, that'd be cool because then you can go back and read the book like when it came out and kind of like get into the I was gonna say get into the fervor of the moment, but fine.
I would not want a TARDIS. You know, Dan mentions like, wow, you have a device that can bend space and time. Think of all the good that you could do. What are you gonna do with it? Comic book collection.
Well, that would be part of what I'm going to do.
Sure.
I would also go back in time and stop my parents from meeting, and that way I won't have to put up with this.
Then you would just cease to exist.
Yeah,
how that works.
You get it.
There we go. All right. I would probably go and try to prevent Pompeii from happening, and I'd wind up being that guy who's frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, top lane, the power of getting sales figures from the dark multiverse.
The Batman who graphs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have the power. Like I wouldn't want the real collection power as much as I prefer the power to like blue skidoo into the comics, you know?
Excuse me?
Blue skidoo, yeah.
We can do.
Like,
yeah. You go into it.
Marco, are you not getting this reference?
Yes.
Okay,
sorry.
I thought we missed a generation of pop culture again.
No. Is that like the Crimson Chin?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that what its power was? Oh yeah. I was too distracted by the giant chin.
Don't talk about me that way. So you know who else has a giant chin?
Great transition.
The worst, absolute worst transition.
Amazing.
Gerry Conway.
Ooh, okay.
He has a normal sized face.
Well, listen.
All right.
I didn't say I would ever report the truth here. However, this is true. Gerry Conway has revealed on Twitter, on X, that he has had some pretty major health trouble recently. You'll know Gerry Conway from such comics as Jason Todd and The Punisher.
Man-Thing as well, I believe.
He said in his statement, I'm just going to read the whole statement, and then we can get through our condolences and etc. Gerry says, last October, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and I had Whipple surgery to remove the tumor, including my gallbladder, some of my intestines, and rearrange most of my lower body parts. The good news is, praise Cthulhu, as of January, I'm now cancer-free. The bad news is, praise Cthulhu, there were complications. I've been dealing with those complications since last December, and it's been a lot. 3 hospitalizations, including weeks in an ICU I don't remember because I was in an induced coma, and various other issues too fun to discuss here. The reason I'm bringing this up is not to grab for sympathy. I received much needed sympathy and support from my friends and family at the time, but to express my sincere gratitude to the wonderful team at UCLA Ronald Reagan Hospital who saved my fucking life, and to publicly express my love, especially to my family, particularly the amazing Laura B. Conway, and to the friends who stood by me old and new. I don't have a high opinion of my worth. Their generous support was a revelation. Fingers crossed, I believe I'm well on the road to recovery. I've been in a dark place and I've come out. My heart is filled with gratitude. There's a ways to go still, but the bottom line is I'm back, baby. Ready to take names and kick ass. And he's all out of names.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Great to hear.
He didn't say that last part.
I do like his viewpoint. You know, like if I got a lot of my organs scooped out, I probably wouldn't be the most cheery of people, but it looks like this guy actually had a pretty good support system to help him with this. So that's key for situations like this. You know, like just it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to get help. And I'm glad, you know, he understood his worth through those people, because like this is like the guy who gave us like friggin' some of the best Spider-Man stories of all time.
Is he who killed
Gwen Stacy?
Gwen
Hell
Stacy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, this is. I'm very glad he is. He's okay. So that he can kill Gwen Stacy again.
She's been hankering for it, so.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Probably could have phrased that better.
Yeah, but it isn't, because normally when we get these kinds of things on the show, it's not good. And then it becomes a discussion on, you know, like, oh, well, maybe if these creators could actually get paid something, you know, they'd be able to live. But I'm glad this one wasn't a total downer. He's doing okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and it, you know, according to this comicbook.com article, he seems to, you know, there's no real indication of financial troubles or anything. So, you know, he may have a good situation insurance wise, which is great.
Is he one of those Marvel guys that's on like those Legends plans, like Claremont?
I have to imagine,
because Conway still has some stuff that pops up in Marvel occasionally.
Yeah, he I
Carnage
think I saw
recently.
that he recently was doing Spider-Man one shots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. And glad that, you know, he's doing better, and hopefully that means that, you know, he'll get back to doing stuff that he loves. So
He's got a long career ahead of him. Or not. I mean,
would you throw in the towel?
I don't think he's throwing in the towel.
I'm
like
not
just,
even,
yeah.
I'm not even in the industry. I want to throw in the towel.
Cale's lettering towel is it's
it's a white towel and I'm waving it. You got to think too, a guy with comics in his blood like this, you know, coming from ground floor, you know, he's gonna stick around a while. You know what else is gonna stick around a while?
King of segues. Let's go.
David Zaslav.
Oh no.
Well, no, hopefully not him. But he thinks that DC, Harry Potter, and the Lord of the Rings are underused franchises. How that could possibly be true, I'm not positive.
We want another. You know what? We want the Smeagol game. Give me the Smeagol movie.
Oh, don't give him ideas, Marco. At the Goldman Sachs Communicopia and Technology Conference.
Burn it down. That's all I don't care about. I don't want that to exist.
It wasn't fun saying it.
Yeah.
Zaslav argued that the company is underutilizing their franchises, such as Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and the DC universe, especially following the smash success of Barbie earlier this year. One of the real strengths of this is Zaslav. One of the real strengths of Warner Brothers is we talk about the great IP that Warner Brothers owns. But for us, the challenge is that our content, our great IP, Harry Potter, DC, Lord of the Rings, that content has been underused. We think there's a lot of shareholder value in attaching a 10-year DC, a real plan around DC, bringing Harry Potter back to HBO for 10 consecutive years, doing multiple movies of Lord of the Rings, Zaslav added. We need this 10 years?
Give me more Lord of the Rings, yes. Give me the Silmarillion.
Just watch the Amazon show.
and then you'll see why that's a bad idea.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
I guess we don't
I
need to-
enjoyed it too, but a lot of people forgot about it. This is all just corporate. This is let me sloppy top off our shareholders so they can
Oh yeah,
get off my ass. Like, yeah, well, we're gonna Gandalf the movie coming in 2027, which they have been talking about.
surprise anyone?
Yeah, this is IP is just the new real estate. Like, that's all it is. It's used to just they sit on this IP, they milk it like those fake memes
Almonds.
that Jordan Peterson was sharing. Yeah, so they just it was like a kink thing he shared by accident. Never mind. Well, we don't need to get into that.
What?
It's milking. Just that's all it is. But yeah, there is no creative kind of geez, I'm losing my words here. None of this is about creative stuff and it being good and the fans enjoying it. It's about, all right, I need to say that it's coming out so people can invest money. It's all money based. Whether or not these things actually come out, I don't think he gives a shit.
Well,
It's just right now. Right now he needs more money. How do I get it? Promise.
He gets money off the idea that this stuff might come out. It's just the wrong lesson, learned from Barbie. Barbie came out and Warner Brothers said, "Hey, wait, we own that. We could make money.
We can do that thing. Hold on a second. I will say, I agree with Classy. A Harry Potter anime would slap. Wizards
stop.
and wizards
Stop.
and
Stop giving that woman money. Stop.
Well,
it.
I want to see magic
it.
shit.
Dude, watch something else.
Nothing.
Go
has,
watch El Mago
has
Pop's newest Netflix special if you want magic.
the what?
El Mago Pop,
I have to look up what that is.
Spanish magician. Apparently, I learned about that last night.
Comicbook.com used this to transition into the DC Universe slate that's coming out. We've got the Gods and Monsters Volume 1 business from James Gunn and Peter Safran, Superman Legacy, The Brave and the Bold, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing, and The Authority, as well as HBO Max television shows Waller, Booster Gold, Lanterns, and Paradise Lost, as well as the animated Creature Commandos series.
Oh, that's right. That looks cool. You see, they're milking the DC universe. Why can't they do that with Harry Potter, with Lauder?
Because the DC universe has content to be mined.
Ever evolving content as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So keep evolving it. Make this the extended universe of Lord of the Rings.
Or why don't we make new things?
Cale, that involves work.
Good things sell good. Why make more? Yeah.
Right, yeah. And I think that's ultimately what it is, right? Good things sell well. Done. Right? Fine. I'm going to stretch as much as I can out of this. Because you can keep milking it. You can keep subdividing content and story and continue to drive some sort of narrative if you have some kind of talent attached to it, because you can make it, the X-Men aren't just the original books, right? They've since spun out, but you can do that across the board with anything else.
In DC.
I think you can do that with anything of quality. And I think X-Men is quality, and I think Lord of the Rings is quality.
Anything of quality you can stretch out until the quality's gone.
Yeah,
sure. Right. Yeah.
What is that? How does that dilute the original? Oh God, I apologize for this. The original IP.
It does.
Ooh,
and
corporate
that's the
Cale.
consequence.
But that's not good.
Yeah, but then I'm getting a Harry Potter anime.
Yo, hot take: Harry Potter not good.
Why don't you watch more Naruto? It's Harry Potter but with ninjas.
But I don't want to watch ninjas. I want to watch wizards, bro. And
They're not
frankly,
even the cool wizards. Lord of the Rings has the cool wizards. The thing is, like, I think the DC James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC will be the patient zero for Warner Brothers in that regard. I hope with the success of Barbie that teaches them a better lesson there. That, like, these I know it won't. Yeah, I know it won't. One and done stories by auteur filmmakers that get free reign over the IP. Like, that's the lesson they should make. They should get from it. But instead it'll just be like, all right, Ken coming out in 2025.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling's Oscar bait.
Oh, I'm getting flamed for my takes.
Yeah, because
what
they're
else
bad.
is new?
No,
There's a
dude,
shirt
like,
literally in our shop called Marco Was Wrong.
I just see it as like a way to continue to subdivide story. Like, I don't think that's something that's not feasible. Like, you can have that with stories that are either sequential and ongoing, or stories that have contained a contained universe in the beginning of an end. Like, you can infinitely expand to a thing. I think you run into an issue of diluting a product, but I don't think that therein does not provide an ability to continue to tell stories within that world.
We've seen the dilution of all three of these IPs and what it did for the IP itself. DC
within 5 years.
Yeah, DC. Yeah, within recent memory, because this is the mindset that these big corporations have now. DC, we had the Flash. Like, that was the culmination of that side of the DC universe. One of probably their worst financial hit in DC movies ever. We had The Hobbit being stretched out to 3 movies, which I think severely limited, like diminished the quality of it. And also heavy use of CG as opposed to practical effects, all that stuff. And then Fantastic Beast literally was a wet fart by the end of it.
Yep.
Also an Ezra Miller joint. So
I heard that one was good. I haven't seen it though.
I heard nothing good about the final 2. I heard like there was enough discussion about the second one where there was at least people on both sides of it. I heard no discussion about the third one, which is, I think, the worst possible thing that could happen to a movie.
I would argue, let's say you have The Hobbit, and that's all that Tolkien did, right? And then his son came in and did the let's just imagine he did exactly, word for word what was Lord of the Rings. You're expanding the universe, but then under the argument that you guys are making, that would count as stretching the IP thin or making it IP.
Yes.
And right, but then how would you would take that over the sake of quality? You would say it is diluting the original for the sake of producing content, as opposed to it just being another element of the story that exists in the same world. Like, The Hobbit had a beginning and end.
Yeah.
But he decided to go back to it.
Do you think The Lord of the Rings was not written by J.R.R. Tolkien?
No, it is. But what I'm saying is
he's saying imagine.
Like, he continued to tell a world to tell a story within the world that he built.
And there's plenty of stuff that his son wrote that, is out there.
Sure.
A lot of
and it's good.
Yeah.
Alleged.
There's a tweet that I saw where it was like, "Doctor, we're gonna have to take your appendix out." Tolkien, but that's where I tell you how the elves are racist or dwarves. So, like, that's, I don't know. Like,
I think, like, the thing is, it's just, it leaves no room for anything else.
Yeah, if you constantly need to play in established sandboxes, then like, why not something new? Like, Hunger Games was relatively new. That did well, and they stopped it. I think there's more coming now, but so that's probably a bad example. But
and also Star Wars.
And Star Wars is a great example. It's and actually argues exactly against what you're saying. They've utterly diluted it, and frankly, not a lot of it is any good anymore.
Fair. Okay.
Even retroactively.
Whoa.
The stuff from the 70s.
Oh.
Like, because they've had to tread ground and tiptoe around stuff that already exists, the stuff they're putting out doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work with the stuff that, the explanations are bad.
Yeah, but then I never get the book series where Thrawn becomes a character, right? Then I
Oh
never get the same.
no!
But those are things of quality that or pieces of content I'll lose out on, like
The books, yeah, and now you're getting a show that makes that content lukewarm. Like you're only proving your point.
And also,
Transmedia
these
expansion is fine. It's when I think you take the same media and you pull it and you pull it and you pull it. It becomes taffy and then it finally breaks.
and also these things take time to make. Their relevance just dips and dips and dips. Why do we need a Harry Potter, a 10-year long Harry Potter franchise in this year of our Lord 2023?
the market's grown.
Has it?
Well, the people who saw it as kids, like you're gonna work off of that nostalgia market 20 years later. So that
Bro,
makes sense.
people even aren't having kids anymore.
No, but we're those kids. Like we're the ones that grew up watching those movies. Like you can milk us, and because we're the people entering that element. Tyler,
I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Can you milk me, Greg?
If I try hard enough.
Yeah, you can milk anything with nipples. I got you, Cale.
But we are those people now entering the realm of let us feed off of their dollar amount. This is the generation we're looking to feed the dollar amount out of. So I think that tracks.
No, it doesn't. Sorry.
Catherine
also,
says, "Can we not say milk anymore?" I think that's fair. Yeah, I think we could stop
Fine.
milk. We should stop milking that phrase.
I died. We're done.
Yeah.
Also, J.K. Rowling sucks, and she needs to go away. And
Agreed.
I
will be I'm not interested in the Harry Potter series. This new one, this show that's coming out.
Me neither. Yeah.
Because I was raised religious and wasn't allowed Harry Potter in the first place.
And you have to deal with that accent constantly in your everyday life. So, like, just living around there. Yeah.
Fucking hell. But also, so I have no skin in the game. But also, it will be interesting to see what the reaction will be, whenever this comes out. Because I simply cannot imagine a second, nay, a third Harry Potter fervor lasting 10 years. The first one being, the releases of the books, the second one being the films.
On Planet Marco, AI generates endless stories about the same thing for cash and dopamine hits. Thanks, Atomic Hound. That's how I feel.
Yo, that's it. I need to get that little stimulation, a little dope, a little serotonin.
Getting milked simultaneously.
Hey, we can't say that.
Oh, okay.
-1 point.
To Gryffindor.
Speaking of things that we can't say, comics writer and editor and this guy also worked in maybe columnist for sure. Joe Illidge came out with his new column on the Popverse called Adventures in Champagne. And his first column is called A Survivor's Guide to Being a Working Comic Book Creator. Living and Dying in 4-Color Time, the Ballad of a Working Comic Creator. Now, Joe has said what everyone can't say. In this column, Joe has put out the rates, the current rates, what seem to be the current rates for comic book creators, from writers to artists to letterers to colorists. We're talking the stratosphere. We're talking licking money off the ground. Joe has put all that out there, and Sean and also I thought that because we're talking about the sales charts, how do we know if we don't know what the companies are making? What about the creators? Now, this is a question that I know a lot of young creators coming up have. How do I know what to be paid? We've had people even in our community try and put this information out there. For starters, on the low end, Joe says that and he got this information from, it sounds like, Tim Seeley, Ray Anthony Height, Darren Bennett, and Bon Alimagno. So they, checked on his work. So for writers on the low end, you get 60 to 80 a page. In the stratosphere, you're looking at $500 a page. For artists, meaning you're doing the penciling and inking, the low end, meaning roughly 65 to 70% of working artists, is $125 to $150 a page. The stratosphere being $1,000 a page.
Wow. Damn.
I just threw the list of stuff for our viewers too. This doesn't help podcast
tremendous.
listeners,
Yeah.
but it's up there for
I'm just
listeners.
hitting the low and the stratosphere, which is the extra high stuff. The letterers are doing, on the low end, $10 a page, and then the stratosphere is $40 a page. Whoa, what a dip.
Yikes.
Colorists on the low end are doing $75 to $80 a page, and then their stratosphere starts at $140 a page.
Wow, I would have thought it'd be more.
For colorist,
So
That's
did they.
surprising.
Yeah, that's why we have the
Damn.
same color. That's why we have the same colorist in every book. It's because
Yeah.
they need to eat.
That's why
and that's
same
Clayton
letterer.
Cowles and Hassan are chained to
Fuck.
their desks.
Man.
Yeah, this is a good start for transparency,
But and obviously these are scales, right? So like depending on
Sure.
the value that and I think to that earlier point we have, depending on the value that you drive for an individual book or for an individual sale, if you don't have that number, I'm gonna keep going to a publisher and being like, as a letterer, yeah, give me $15. I can do a page. I can do that. That's for sure. But let's say your book is outselling, you get praise. You don't know whether or not you're worth the 20 to 30, the 40. And in some cases, honestly, you might get a reality check. Hey, kind of a 10. And that's not a dig at creators, but that's a way to validate the, I guess, unfortunate meritocracy of creating.
And the other thing it mentions is like the creator owned aspect of this too. Like if I'm starting a Kickstarter, I'm going to want to pay the higher towards the medium to high rate, so I can get the good artists on my book if I'm writing. So, add that to my 9-to-5 job. So it's like impossible to even afford to pay creators good rates to create a book that you could then put on Kickstarter. But it's expensive as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Super pricey.
Especially on something like a creator-owned book where it's most of the time writer led. In our community, Sylv, she's running a Kickstarter now. Definitely go support it.
Funded, by the way. Congrats.
Funded.
It
That's
did.
right.
Oh, tremendous. Fund it more.
Funded, yeah. Further
I demand it.
Yeah.
But they often the writer has to fund it themselves, right? Sylv is doing two jobs.
Two jobs if it, at minimum, right? And then
as well as doing an absolute crap ton of overtime.
Yep. And leading the charge on marketing for the thing, building out the campaign. You're organizing and ranking. Your editor. You're all the hats, man. Like that's wild. And then the funding process isn't even guaranteed in a lot of cases. So congrats to Soph, because that's a tremendous achievement.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But it ain't easy, and to do it, it's few and far between people who can do that, either monetarily or drive wise.
I simply know that I cannot.
Yeah, same. I don't have it in me. I don't got that dog in me.
Genuinely, it's the thing that stops me. I don't have it. I simply don't have it.
Don't sleep.
Listen, if I were that kind of person, I would have done it. I'm pretty. I need my sleep.
Yeah, it takes a special like when I talked to friend of the show, Mark Bouchard, and their their Kickstarters they've done. Yeah. It's constant work. They just started a new one.
Yep.
So it's insane the amount of work that goes into that. And honestly, you get almost 100 pre-signups on Mark's Kickstarter. So they just
go support. Summer of Blood, is that
correct?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go support Mark's. Okay, this one's gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
They put a good one.
Yeah, Mark is also in law school, so they're also a student. They're also doing all this, off their own back. That's the thing. My thing has always been I can't even support myself. I can't even buy my own comic books. I am tragically terrible with money. How can I pay another person to work for me?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do here?
And that becomes a sobering reality. Like my brother, he's trying to get into writing. He's been producing some scripts, but at the end of the day, it's like I need to produce them. Like, yeah, I have the work. Now it needs to be put out into the world, and that becomes a challenge. And Dan puts out an excellent point, as always. Adding to this, since they're independent contractors, they also pay taxes at a higher rate because you're signing a different tax form, and that's assuming you're not just being like, yo, I'll throw you $40 on Venmo, per page, right? That's like, let's say you are you're trying to make yourself an established worker. You got to do stuff by the book, and unfortunately, the book taxes the shit out of you, and that's a reality that you also have to consider. So I can only imagine, again, to Sylv, she does this shit by the book, right? So that's additional costs on top. Off of this article, do you feel like there's a danger of people overvaluing themselves and inflating the creator market and I guess to rephrase that, like in the sense that you are a creator and being like, hey, these people are getting paid $500 to be an artist. I'm an artist, but my stuff's not up to snuff. Is there a worry about that?
What, worry that it being transparent does that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what big companies want you to think. That only good can come from knowing page rates and for everyone across the board. I think it is a bad situation if you start comparing yourself and it becomes like, oh, what is it? Some thing about jealousy. I forget the saying. But this is good because it helps you know what you're worth, and to not allow companies to pay you less than what you're worth. This is the same in any industry, and that's why they don't like people talking about their wages, and that's why managers never really talk about that openly. And some companies even discredit people from talking about it, which is illegal, by the way, in the United States.
And that ties into sales as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure. If Marco's drawing a book and he finds out that, Tyler's getting paid more, but Tyler's book isn't selling as well, he just knows Sean, who's the hot DC wallet. He's getting paid more. Um, how's Marco supposed to
Yeah.
get paid more?
Or even know he needs to be paid more, you know? And
Yeah.
this also, that obtuseness of everything helps to get to stifle unionizations too. Like, this is part of the reason why we don't have a union in comic books, because the information is not out there for that to be a standard across the industry.
But in an example where, like, I'm trying to build a book, right? And I'm trying to make it as cost effective because frankly I can't afford it. Does it price people out when
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then, but then how is that a positive outcome?
It is just an outcome. I don't think it's a negative or a positive. It is just how things work. If you can't afford to make it, then you can't make it. I'm sorry. Is there a greater issue in the fact that you can't afford it? Yes.
If you can't afford to pay your employees, you shouldn't have a business.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
but if I want to prioritize the lower aspect of it, right, across the board because that's what I can afford, but the creators will not meet me in the middle, or a creator won't meet me in that middle because they feel valued at a different price. There's a discrepancy there. How do I then get a book with the money that I have, knowing I can hit that lower end, but creators don't want to hit that lower end because
the problem is, Marco, you're thinking like a corporation.
no, I'm thinking as somebody, an individual who wants to produce a book.
So you're saying I want to pay as little as possible for the best quality art.
No, not
So-
even that. I want to break in, but this is the budget that I have realistically. Like, this is the money that I have. I've mathed it out so that
Yeah.
I know that I can afford a medium letterer, a medium colorist, like across the board, right?
Sure.
Let's just say, right? But they are pricing themselves at higher stratosphere.
Well, then you need to be going to people who are pricing
Yeah.
themselves as medium.
Or save up more if you want to put out a good
Yeah.
product. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also negotiation,
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
You can say, yeah, like with this and with an independent space, it becomes, like, all right, maybe do I pay you a little less up front, but you have some money off of the actual sales of things. I feel like a lot of Kickstarters, most of it, it's like, all right, I'm paying everything up front to the creators, unless you're going into it as a partnership for an IP. And then, because usually it's the writers that are in the negative usually for a lot of Kickstarters, so they need to recoup that with sales. Yeah, but my thing is, like, if you can't afford it, then you shouldn't be able to make it. Like, it sucks,
And
but like, pay people what they're worth.
Yeah, that's the tragedy of it.
And if you don't want to, then you're gonna get a lesser quality thing.
Yeah, it's either do that or make it yourself.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
creators
learn
should
to
touch
draw.
you, man. If I tell you honestly, your art's not worth that, I
Well,
get blackballed.
maybe don't fucking say that.
Yeah,
but then to that argument of like the bluntness of pay more, then get better art. And I'm being contrarian here, but
Yeah.
I am so excited for your small press expo interviews now.
oh no.
Why can't I pay you as little as I want?
Why can't I pay you within the budget that I have slotted because I have
You can't afford me then, baby. Dan says here,
Yeah,
if you can't find
yeah.
someone who will get paid medium, then you aren't paying medium. I know this from 25 years in recruiting. Medium is determined by what you can find, not by what you see on paper. Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. And then there's also the negotiation as far as like, so you need to go a tier higher for an artist. Maybe you can skimp out a little on the colorist. Maybe you can, that's all negotiation. What we want to do here, I want to combine sort of the themes of the main topic and this one. The main topic represents an upheaval and change, with COVID and the way sales data does or doesn't happen, and the change that the industry has faced that way. But Joe's article represents the utter stagnation of the industry and how the more things change, the more they stay the same. You know, does it matter if we can't get sales data if the creators can't afford to work on books?
In my eyes, that it's almost like this haze and this like fog of war for all the information on what makes the money behind the industry of comic books tick is purposeful. It is purposeful in an anti-worker way. Because these things need to be made. IP needs to be turned out and created, and corporations need to monetize that and get as much money out of it as possible. Milk it, if you'd say so. So I think stuff like what Joseph is doing, a great article, by the way. Popverse is putting out some real good stuff lately. I recommend Popverse. They're one of the kind of up-and-coming, I think it was Chris Arrett, I think, from comicbook.com.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that's right.
Great stuff. What Joseph Illidge is doing here, I think, is needed. It's necessary. I think you see this in all forms of industry nowadays, where I think people are realizing they need to be recognized for their worth and their and what they can do as a worker, and are learning that, all right, transparency is key, communication is key, and camaraderie is key in this. And hopefully this can lead to actual change. If, the people that are creating the product are the ones in control of things and how it works, then we would have a sales chart data, because it benefits creators, not the companies that own them.
Yep.
If the corporations had their way, none of this would be resolved, and they don't care.
Yeah.
At the least.
You get to write Deadpool.
Yeah, so lucky. Yeah.
Exposure. You get the exposure. You're
Remember what
good.
Heather Anto said when we interviewed her? You were lucky to be working for Marvel, and they
That's right.
paid you less because of it. You're lucky to be paid less. Love it.
Wild. That's the
It
stuff
is
that
and it
happens when
isn't.
you
Yeah.
when you first start gigging, even for musicians, the first thing they do is like, oh, we'll give you drink tickets and you're getting the exposure, you're getting out there. It's like
Hot dog and a
bruh.
handshake. Yeah.
Yeah, if the hot dog, and it's like a stale hot dog too.
All right, guys.
We hit the goal. We are at 26, Cale.
We smashed the goal.
Yeah.
So not only are we going to McDonald's,
Yes.
y'all can play in the play place.
Ooh.
Wow.
Let's do a draft.
With this new variant about kids getting COVID.
Licking those balls. Whoops.
Whoop.
Oh, no.
Hey, yo, pause. I guess I have the dice here, so I can.
You got dice?
I
I
got
also
the
got dice.
I got the dice.
Good.
Today we are drafting your guys. Let's step aside here and just make sure this is what we're talking about.
Oh, it's a
Drafting
sidebar.
quick sidebar.
Okay. Yeah,
Don't
listeners,
listen.
don't listen right now.
Don't listen right now. We're doing a draft about a team of robots, right?
Robots. Okay. Yeah,
Right.
I think it's robots. Yeah. Should we do four? Four. Okay. I think four sounds
Four?
fine.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should do five.
I
Everybody
mean,
can
that's a lot
think
of
of a
robots.
robot.
I can
we
do
can
five. I
figure
could
it
probably do five. Yeah.
Yeah, five. We
can
do
figure it
across any franchise.
Yeah. Guys, you aren't listening, right? We're just doing a sidebar.
Don't listen.
Don't listen. Yeah. Five robots each.
5 robots.
Okay. Yeah.
Audience, we're doing 5 robots. You are Dr. T.O. Morrow. Who's the guy that does the Metal Men?
Elon Musk. No, shit. Wrong guy.
Nope.
And you are building a team of 5 robots that you have to create into one Will Magnus that you have to create a working team out of.
But before we get
That was
into that,
definitely, that was definitely a sentence.
Cale, before we get into that, I need to address something real quick. We got a comment. K.O. Hearn in the chat. commented, when you reply to our comments, I'll give you my like. Who cares about your draft picks? KO, you are constantly behind on the live stream. That is why we never read your comments. It's just delayed. We've passed it already. I'm sorry. We can get to them in after the show. But you got if you want to join the live stream, you got to be live. That's all. But you know what? People do care about the drafts. So let's get to it.
Ooh, wait, qualifier, good qualifier. Full robots or does Robot Man count?
I think cyborgs count, right?
They better. That's what I was thinking too.
Okay,
man.
then we might have to do
think
cyborgs.
they have to be majority robot. So for me, cyborg doesn't count.
What?
But Robot Man would,
Agreed.
because he's 95% robot versus cyborg, who is, various bits and pieces here of robots, right? We're talking
yeah.
robots.
Robots.
Androids.
Synthezoids,
Yeah,
Synthezoids.
I get. No,
rust buckets.
cyborgs would count.
Sure. Yeah.
Would they?
No. Well, it depends on the
50% or more.
cyborg.
50% or more. Right. It depends on the cyborg.
Like I would say, it's not a comic book character, like a Doctor Who, Cyberman. I think would
That's
count,
what
but
I'm
they're
thinking.
technically cyborgs.
Okay. Well,
What a
we'll
Dalek
leave the
would-
end of.
We'll-
We'll leave the
well, yeah.
individual character up to the broader choice. So
Yeah,
Tyler,
we'll know it when we hear it. Once Marco says something and we're like, oh, that's a Swamp Thing character. No, we're not doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. right.
Tyler,
I got some good ones, I think.
Who,
Do the
Marco,
order.
you're gonna go first then.
Oh.
In terms of the roll, I'm rolling you first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're gonna get an 11, an angel number. Oh, there we go.
good one.
I'll go second. So Tyler will be getting a 19.
Damn. What
I
the
saw
fuck?
I saw your arm.
I saw
moving.
it, yeah, he
No,
moved
no,
that.
it's 19. I don't lie. I
Uh-huh.
don't lie.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. He flipped.
And
So it was
Cale
91.
gets no 14. You got a 14, Cale.
Oh, damn. I
So
lost.
Marco, with your 11, you are last.
Okay.
So I guess I'll start.
Take it off.
I'll start, and I'm gonna go
Marco, you writing this
Off.
down?
Yeah. I'm
Okay, great.
off the rip. Give me my boy Vision.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Data from Star Trek.
Oh, we're doing not just. I mean,
I thought that was comics. No, let's do comics.
He's in a comic.
yeah. I'm gonna. I think this is the when you hear it, you'll know it. I'm gonna say no on that as well.
Yeah, same.
What?
I'm thinking it has to have
If-
started in comics. Let's. That's the thing there.
Oh,
I'll sign on to that qualifier. Sorry, Tyler. I just started writing. What was it?
Vision. It was Vision.
all right. Red Tornado.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that would be your next one.
fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, you painted me into a corner.
Sorry, no data, no spot.
Hey, painted him red. I'm gonna take Astro Boy.
Good one.
Oh, that is a Marco pick. You get 2 Marco. So
Oh, in that case, I'm gonna take Brain next.
brain from Monsieur Malal on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Robot.
Bro, he's literally a brain in a
Fair.
fucking jar.
Okay. Fair. If we're saying Robot Man counts, then brain counts. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go Robot Man.
Fuck,
Damn.
I shouldn't have said it. I shouldn't have said it. All right. Well, I threw you off because I want Cyborg Superman.
Oh, that's good.
He's full
He's-
robot. He's full robot.
Okay. All right.
He just looks like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
he just
That
looks
sounds
like
so
that.
rude. It's like that Tinder bio I saw that was JFK's brain just did that. Yeah, did not match with her, unfortunately. I was hopeful. All right, so I have Vision and I have Cyborg Superman. Give me a Mazo.
Good one.
Okay.
Dan, I don't know who Golden Age Robot Man is.
I am gonna go with who was it? It was a great one.
I'm not-
Herbie.
Fifth.
Herbie? Oh,
from,
Herbie's good.
The Fantastic Four. Herbie the helper robot.
Okay. I'm gonna do Tin.
I knew you were going to pick one of them. Yeah.
Pervert.
Hey. And I'm gonna do Human Torch.
Oh, the original Human Torch. I didn't know you had it in you, Marco.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
struggling
yeah.
on that fifth one though. I'm really stretching right now.
Okay. Okay, I got one. But Cale's up.
I will do. I gotta have a metal, man.
Gotta.
I'm gonna do gold.
Like,
Gold, too. Sure, yep. Give me. Oh, I just had it and I lost it. I just had it and I lost it.
4.
Oh,
Last round.
up for interpretation here. Warlock from the New Mutants. That is an alien race of robots, though, right?
I think that counts.
Okay.
I think it is.
yeah.
Warlock. And then I guess it's my. So Vision is my last one coming up. So Vision, Cyborg, Superman, Amazo, Warlock, and.
We got one more.
Oh,
I
Skeets.
just had somebody.
Give me Skeets.
Skeets? Oh,
Yeah.
Good one.
Give me that Skeet. And Cale, is this your last one, I believe?
Yes. Oh, of course. Of course. I'm gonna go Brainiac.
nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Brainiac. Any
That's
old
true.
Brainiac.
He is a robot. That's a good
The
one.
more powerful, the better.
I'm gonna do Sentinel.
Just flavorless
Any old-
Sentinel.
Any old Sentinel.
You don't want Master Mold. You just want.
Nope. Just like any old Sentinel.
You want. Oh, you want Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Sentinel. Wombo combo. Wombo combo. Hot feet. Hot feet.
That's it, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
everybody.
Yeah. So Marco, do you want to read these teams off?
Got you. Starting with Tyler, you have Vision, Cyborg Superman, Amazo, Warlock, Skeets. Cale has Red Tornado, Robot Man, Herbie, Gold, Brainiac, and I have Astro Boy, Brain, Tin, the original Human Torch, and any old Sentinel.
I want to say I sweep, but I'm now hearing them all together. I'm not so sure of that.
I forgot to list. So
I happen to like
Cale,
mine a lot.
Kale's robot
don't-
glitched.
I don't remember. I know I'm excited about Herbie, but that's the
I
most
would
I
pick
can.
Prince
most
Prince
I can give you.
robot.
Oh, that would have been so
Yeah,
good.
That's a good one. Keelix too. Failsafe. Marowak Oscuro, one of my favorite names that shows up in the chat. Failsafe, good one there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Omac. Omac would have been a decent one.
oh, that.
Good one. The Android Hour Man.
Ooh, that's a thing.
What? Whoa.
Victor
That's a good
Mancha
pull.
from
That's a
Runaways.
real good pull.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We had the question. I think it was Top Lane that said it, or maybe CW Gordon. What does that make Inspector Gadget
Ooh.
based on our criteria? Is he a robot? I think he's a cyborg.
He's a
think he's-
cyborg. He's a cyborg, but he's like full cyborg.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Inspector Gadget. I just know that dude probably
He's
a great lover.
He's similar to his whole thing is similar to Cyborg, the DC comic character. Dude got in a car accident or whatever, and instead of letting him die mercifully, they made him a robot.
I guess.
Or the $6 million man.
Not comics. Not comics.
Well, that's right. True.
There were comics.
So Dan says Omac isn't really a robot though. Yeah, true. Maybe Brother Eye, does that count? Is that more of an AI sentient thing? But
That counts.
Hmm.
Who's
right.
Who's the X-Men villain? The Oh my god.
Oh, that just bulleted through the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Nimrod.
Nimrod. Yes.
Ultron.
Nimrod
Nobody
would be a good
picked Ultron. What the?
one. Oh wow. Sean would have picked Ultron.
Yeah, Sean would have picked Ultron. Yeah, we said that for Sean. Yeah,
Who would Sean have picked? Ultron?
he would have went all Marvel. Ultron,
Yeah.
Nimrod. Yeah, he would have picked Vision before me because he would have rolled
If-
better than me.
Yeah, if he could have got away with it, he would have done fucking Galactus.
Oh,
I would have shot that down immediately.
Well, yeah,
A Doombot maybe. Throw a Doombot in there.
yeah.
There's a lot of
Okay.
comic robots actually. Now that you think about it, yeah. I came up with this one in a fugue state this morning, while I patted the blood off my forehead.
Does Ultraman count?
Ultraman. No, he's not a robot.
The Japanese character.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
No,
thinking
he's not a
Crime
robot.
Syndicate.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking Supida Man's mech, but I don't know if mechs count.
Leopardon.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. We should have thought about that. Well, tell us who won. It sounds. I've seen Tyler, and I think that's the only vote I've seen. So it sounds like Tyler won to me.
Hey. I
Let us
totally
know
didn't
who
come up with
won
this
in the
preparation.
comments. Hey, listen, the comments for whenever you're listening to this, KO. You can tell us who won, and you can drop us a like if you so choose. Make sure you go to patreon.com/thecomicspals where you can support us. You can get a whole bunch of stuff, including access to our special Patreon pals Discord. And listen, it just helps us. It helps us do this, and it keeps our relatives off our back because we are making money from this. Thanks to you.
Yeah. Well,
Don't forget-
one benefit of that, I'll just say, is we're gonna get to go to Comic-Con this year, and it's a little less painful for us. So.
And because of you guys, we
Yeah.
got sick wireless lapel mics.
Microphones, yeah.
I'm gonna be testing those out this weekend.
Yep.
Put them in a live environment, low risk. So we're ready for New York Comic Con.
Don't say it's low risk to them. Like
We oh yeah, and
it takes
the
a
guys
lot of
will
yeah.
the
takes a lot
guys
of
will
guts
be
to
at
put
New
it
York
out.
Comic Con interviewing all your favorite creators. So if you know of somebody going to
Yeah,
New York
yeah.
Comic Con that you want to hear from, that you would like us to interview, make sure and let us know. Always listen to this show at 10:15 a.m. Eastern every Saturday. And then don't forget on Thursday, listen to us talk about the week's hottest comics without sales charts at 6 p.m. Eastern. We have a book club that is out. DC's Invasion. This was a Marco pick, encouraged
Yeah, it
by Atomic Hound and Dan Trudeau, and
peer pressure.
mixed results, I think.
Mixed results, but appreciative that we read it because it's a good piece of history. It's a good.
Yeah.
I think we had some good questions around it.
And I think, and based on people listening to it, it seems to be because we had so many questions and criticisms that it's a decent discussion that people enjoyed. So
Yeah.
I believe we have the the poll for the next book club up.
it is
On Patreon if you are a listener, so make sure and go vote in that. And I believe that is all. Cale, do the plugs. Oh, that's me. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me on Instagram at TotoInTow. That's TOTOINTOW. You can find my work at caleward.com. That's CLEWARD.com. Tyler.
Oh, me. You can find me slurping on some halal food at 4 o'clock in the morning, right near Radio City Music Hall.
Don't like that word.
Slurping?
Slurping on halal food.
Slurping on that white sauce, yo. It's good, man. It's good shit. Yeah, follow me at everywhere at the Tyler Olson on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, X. Yeah, all there. I almost said FetLife, but that's not my account name. But it was a Marco joke.
If you can find him, you can add him on
Tyler just out here milking and slurping, ladies. But yeah, come hit me up in the DMs, whatever. Wrong type of show to be peddling that. Yeah.
Tyler's wrapping the show like. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Marco Animoto. All the things. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Come talk to me.
Well, guys, the picks just started and KO's leaving. So
I just like
wrap
how
it
we
up.
get to talk